the 911 tape was revealed, there was a few attempts to try to resuscitate him. The dog, the family dog that lived in the house, was more important than my son's body. Laying dead. She was looking for her dog. Whatever the dog, King, whatever the name was in the 911 tape, it says she's yelling out the door for the dog. My son is laying in the bedroom, dead.
It was around 3 a.m. on a warm June night in 2022 when chaos tore through a quiet home in Ohio. The sound of gunfire shattered the silence, 16 shots that ended the life of a 20-year-old man named Tyree Richardson. The call came through to 911 as panicked voices screamed for help, but by the time police arrived, it was too late. Tyree was already gone, his body riddled with bullets, his dreams snatched away in the most brutal way possible. And the worst part, the person behind the gun wasn't a stranger or some random enemy. It was the man caught sleeping with Tyree's girlfriend, the same woman he'd loved for years. Tyree Richardson, known in his city by his rap name FSO Gunk, wasn't some reckless kid caught in the streets. He had big dreams and an even bigger heart. He was born into a tight family. His mother, Lindsay, and father, Roger, raised him to be strong, focused, and loyal. They called him the light of the family, because wherever Tyree went, people felt his energy. He wasn't just popular for his charm. He had hustle in his blood. By 20, Tyree had become a father to a baby boy named Cody, and that role meant the world to him. His parents said he was determined to be a better man than he used to be, always saying he wanted his son to grow up proud of him. That was the kind of man Tyree was, flawed but fighting hard to rise above.
Not only seeing our son's body shot up, because in court and trial you see the real life pictures. Not only seeing him laying there with a bullet to the back of his head, with a bullet to his neck, with 14 bullets to his back. Not only did it hurt us to see that, we learned the truth behind the story. And as hard as it was for us to accept the truth,
music was his escape. Going by FSO Gunk, he had already released songs that built him a loyal following in his community. People felt his music because it told the truth about struggle, love, and redemption. But Tyree wasn't just chasing fame, he was chasing ownership. He ran a food truck, sold merch, and even bred dogs. He had plans to build something real, something lasting. He spoke about creating generational wealth and teaching his son what true independence looked like. For someone his age, that mindset was rare. Tyree wasn't afraid of responsibility, he leaned into it. Friends said he was always checking on his little boy, asking about school, buying clothes, and making sure everything was good, even when life between him and his child's mother got rocky. That mother was Autumn Anderson, the girl he'd fallen for back in high school. They were young, wild, and crazy about each other. Everyone thought they were perfect at first. Autumn often told people how much she loved him, how he made her feel safe and understood. But that love story soon took a dark turn. Their relationship had ups and downs, arguments, breakups, makeups, the usual chaos that comes with young love. But this wasn't just emotional drama, it started turning dangerous. Back in April 2020, on Tyree's birthday, someone tried to ambush him after a night of celebration. Gunshots ripped through the air and Tyree barely escaped with his life. He told his family it didn't make sense. How would someone know exactly where he was unless someone close had told them? The only people aware of his movements that night were Autumn and one of her friends. Tyree grew suspicious but brushed it off, trying to believe his girl had nothing to do with it.
April 26th was Tyree's birthday. And for Tyree's birthday, I had got somebody to come in, do an at-home massage for him. I had cooked brunch. I had went out. I had got him gifts. We had went out to dinner with his family, and then we went to the club.
Autumn later said she had planned a perfect birthday for him. Brunch, gifts, even an in-home massage. But the happiness faded fast once bullets started flying. Tyree told his friends he felt something was off, that the attack felt too personal. But instead of walking away, he stayed, hoping things would get better. Their relationship never really healed. Tyree wanted to fix it. He wanted his family whole again. He even admitted that he'd made mistakes. He'd hurt Autumn emotionally and physically, and he hated himself for it. He wanted to change. He begged her to see that he was trying to grow, to forgive him, so they could raise their son together. But Autumn had moved on emotionally. She told him straight up that she couldn't take the fights anymore, couldn't handle the pain. Still, Tyree couldn't let go.
Tyree's brother had came, and Tyree's brother's friends had came. So mind you, like, she drunk. She ends up throwing up outside the club. She literally like has the door open outside the black truck, like with her head out, like she bent, like she twisted.
Wait. It's not over, Monty. Come on, Monty. We about to go to the car.
Wait, bitch, you gotta throw up some more. Come on, hurry up. Get this shit.
Mind you, me and this girl, we had fell out a couple months before this. We didn't start hanging out with each other up until March, right before I went to Miami to get my.
Even through the tension, he never stopped being there for Cody. If Autumn wouldn't answer his calls, he'd reach out to her relatives just to make sure his son was safe. That's how much he cared. He told his father once that no matter what happened with Autumn, he wasn't walking away from his kid. His heart was locked on fatherhood and rebuilding himself, but fate had other plans. Then came that tragic night, June 13th, 2022, the night everything changed. Tyree went to Autumn's mom's house, the same home he had entered dozens of times before. He had the door code, he wasn't breaking in, and he wasn't there to start drama. He was there because he still felt connected, because that's where his son lived. But what he walked into was pure hell. Tyree caught Autumn in bed with another man, 22-year-old Terrence Kenneth Yancey. And within moments, Terrence pulled out a gun and opened fire. 16 shots, 16. Most of them hit Tyree in the back as he tried to flee. Police later confirmed that it wasn't a quick act of panic. He was executed.
So when he pulls into the parking spot, he put the car in park, he started rolling up a J. He never was going into the house. He never was like leaving us in the car or nothing like that. He was getting out to hit his J.
His mother said seeing the crime scene photos broke her spirit. One bullet to the head, another to the neck, and the rest tearing through his back. Tyree never stood a chance. Autumn and her sister called 911, but the details were strange. Tyree's mother, Lindsay, said before police even called her, she had already gotten a message that her son was gone. She woke up at 3:32 a.m., a time she says she still can't sleep through because that's when her world stopped. When she and Roger arrived at the scene, they begged officers to tell them what hospital Tyree was taken to, only to hear the words that crushed their souls. He didn't make it. The shooter didn't run far. A 24-hour manhunt ended with police finding Terrence hiding in the woods. But even as he was arrested, rumors began spinning out of control, some saying Tyree had forced his way in, others calling it self-defense. Meanwhile, Autumn went online posting videos trying to clear her name.
I jumped in the driver's seat. I put the car in drive and I started driving in the direction where Tyree ran. Now mind you, it was not as quick as like, he started running, the dude, I seen another fast motion start running after him, and it was kind of like a click kind of situation. If you ever been in a situation where, you know, it's happening fast, stuff kind of slow down. So I'm like, I gotta get myself together. I literally jumped in the driver's seat, put the car in drive, and I start driving in the direction of where he ran to. Now when I'm driving, I got the windows down. I roll the windows down. I'm literally calling his name out from the car, like Tyree, like yelling his name out. And I'm like, we like, come to the car, come to the car. And so I don't hear no commotion. I don't hear like no rustling. I don't hear him. So I start circling the neighborhood. Our neighborhood had one entrance on one side, another entrance on another side. So I'm literally going out of one entrance into the other one, like circling, yelling his name out. So the last time that I circled, it's a police car parked in the library that was adjacent to our neighborhood. The library was one entrance. You go down a little bit, our neighborhood was the next entrance over. So I see a police car parked in the parking lot of the library. Mind you, we live in Crofton. It's a predominantly white area. It's not too much going on. For the most part, it's quiet, it's peaceful. You know, like some days we leaving our doors unlocked, like getting comfortable. Like it's one of those type of neighborhoods. I start hitting my horn and like getting my lights and like flagging the officer down. He put his lights on and start following me into the neighborhood. So when he follows me into the neighborhood.
But the more she talked, the more people doubted her. Tyree's family was heartbroken, angry, and desperate for justice. They said their son wasn't some reckless intruder. He was a man who loved deeply and paid for it with his life. As the days passed after Tyree's murder, confusion and heartbreak filled the air like smoke after a fire. His parents, Lindsay and Roger, were desperate to understand what really happened that night. To them, the story being told by police and the media didn't add up. Tyree wasn't some intruder breaking into a home. He had the door code, and he'd been there countless times before. That was where his son lived, and he believed he had every right to walk inside. But now, the same house that once held his family's laughter had turned into the place where his life ended. From the start, investigators were flooded with conflicting stories.
Damn, bro, what you signed a deal or something today, bro?
QC, you dirty, man.
You said QC?
QC, you dirty.
That's all right there.
Some said Tyree barged in angry after finding out about Autumn's new man. Others claimed he attacked Terrence first, but none of it lined up with the evidence. Tyree had been shot 16 times. 14 of those bullets hit him in the back, one in his neck, one in the back of his head. That didn't sound like self-defense. It sounded like an execution. His parents were forced to look at photos no parent should ever see. Their son lying face down, riddled with bullets, surrounded by blood. Lindsay later said that image will never leave her mind. It replays like a nightmare she can't wake up from. Even worse, the 911 call that night left investigators scratching their heads. Autumn and her sister called for help, but instead of focusing on Tyree bleeding out, she was heard calling for her dog. That detail stuck with Tyree's mother forever. How could someone who once claimed to love him sound so calm, so distracted while he took his last breaths? Lindsay said that hurt more than the bullets because it showed how cold that moment truly was. It wasn't panic, it was indifference. When police identified Terrence Kenneth Yancey as the shooter, a manhunt kicked off immediately. Within 24 hours, they found him hiding in a wooded area outside Dunkirk. He was calm, almost emotionless when they cuffed him, like a man who believed he'd done nothing wrong. But for Tyree's family, that attitude said everything. They believed Terrence had time to think, aim, and make sure Tyree didn't survive. This wasn't fear, it was control. Meanwhile, online chaos erupted. Everyone had something to say. Some accused Autumn of setting Tyree up, saying she'd been acting strange before the shooting. Others tried to defend her, saying she was just caught in the middle. But her actions after Tyree's death made people suspicious. She started posting videos on social media, trying to explain her side, claiming people were twisting the story.
Bro, it's bacon, dude. Give me a month or two, man. This motherfucker will be up and running. I want y'all to support. Man, black businesses need to support each other a little more. In the community, we're going to be all over PG. I just want to inspire the youth and do something a little different for the community. But we'll be serving everything, breakfast, lunch, dinner, everything.
But instead of calming the storm, her words made it worse. People noticed inconsistencies in her version, details that didn't match police reports. She said Tyree forced his way in, but his family pointed out that he had the door code. She said Terrence acted in fear, but 16 shots didn't sound like fear. It sounded like rage. Through all of this, Lindsay and Roger stood strong. They wanted justice, not revenge. They reminded everyone that their son was more than a crime story. He was a father, a businessman, a rapper, and a dreamer who had flaws but was trying to do better. They said Tyree had taken care of Autumn when she had nowhere to go, had fed her, housed her, and helped her raise their son even when they weren't together. So for him to die at her house, at the hands of her new boyfriend, felt like the deepest kind of betrayal.
He comes to my mom's house unannounced. He did not tell me that he was coming. We didn't have no conversation. We literally laid down in the bed. We was taking shots a little bit, like, so we sleepy. It's 3 in the morning. I wake up to shots. It's gunshots, like it's 16 shots. And like 16 shots, that happens fast, but like when you in a room or like next to something like that, like it just seems like it's going on forever.
When the autopsy results came in, they told a brutal truth. The bullets entered Tyree's body at downward angles, meaning some were fired while he was already on the ground. That detail crushed any remaining belief that this could have been self-defense. Forensic experts said there was no struggle, no signs that Tyree attacked anyone. The shots were close range and deliberate. It was cold-blooded. As investigators pieced together the timeline, Tyree's parents realized something even darker. This tragedy didn't come out of nowhere. It had been building. Tyree had told friends that he felt unsafe, that he didn't trust the people around him. He said he had a bad feeling about certain nights, especially when he went to Autumn's place. His instincts were screaming at him, but love made him stay. He didn't want to walk away from his child, even if it meant walking into danger. Then came the first major blow, the plea deal.
You're scratching.
It's okay.
It's Daddy.
Yes.
Who's that right there? Who's that?
That's
It's
how I walk
Daddy.
in.
Huh?
To,
It's Daddy.
Mm-hmm.
Prosecutors offered Terrence a deal of just 3 to 8 years behind bars. When Lindsay and Roger heard that, they were furious. Their son had been shot 16 times, and the man responsible might walk free in less than a decade. It felt like another betrayal. But what shocked them even more was Terrence's response. He turned it down. Not because he wanted to face justice, but because he truly believed he was innocent. He claimed he shot Tyree in self-defense, that he feared for his life. But how does someone shoot another man 16 times in fear? As the case crawled toward trial, the family's pain deepened. Every day was another reminder of what they lost. Lindsay couldn't sleep through 3:32 a.m. She said her body always woke her up at that exact time, the moment her son died. Roger tried to stay strong for the family, but he admitted he felt broken, robbed of his only son. Friends came by to pay respects, lighting candles, playing Tyree's music, and leaving notes that read FSO forever. The community rallied behind the family, calling for real justice, not some watered-down plea. When the trial date was finally announced, the Richardsons prepared for the hardest battle of their lives. They knew they'd have to sit in a courtroom and listen to people twist their son's story, to paint him as the villain instead of the victim. But Lindsay said she was ready. "I'll look at every photo. I'll hear every word," she said, "because my son deserves his truth."
I honestly feel as if our next 6 months is going to be so great about our relationship that you will be able to just forget about everything that's happened in the past. I just really think you would see a greater change. I don't like when you tell me it's no more, because I really got faith in this shit. I really do care. I really do think that this can work. Don't keep cutting me off. I really do think that this can work. I know we can work it out. I want to do this shit with you without my home, without you being in my home, without you being here. It sucks. It's empty. Yesterday, I was fucking in my room all day. I can't keep doing this shit. I can't keep living like this. I don't want to be with nobody else. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, you know. I honestly don't know what to say. I can just tell you I'm sorry, because I literally...
As prosecutors built their case, the truth started to unravel in shocking ways. Witnesses testified that Tyree had come to the house calmly, not violently. Forensic experts confirmed he was shot while on or near the ground. And when the defense tried to claim Tyree was threatening Autumn and Terrence, their own words started falling apart. The story was cracking from every angle. The courtroom became a war zone of emotions, tears, anger, disbelief. Autumn's testimony only made things messier. She changed her story multiple times, saying first that Tyree had a weapon, then admitting he didn't. Her contradictions destroyed the defense's credibility and reinforced what Tyree's family already knew. This wasn't self-defense. This was execution. Even as the trial continued, Lindsay and Roger stayed composed. They said their son's spirit was in that room, guiding them to stay strong. He wasn't perfect, Roger said, but he didn't deserve to die like that. And as the evidence piled up, the truth became impossible to deny. Tyree Richardson didn't walk into danger looking for a fight. He walked into love one last time and never walked back out. When the verdict finally came down, the courtroom felt like it was holding its breath. The air was thick with tension, and Tyree's family sat side by side, holding hands, praying for real justice. They had waited over a year to hear the truth officially recognized, to hear that their son's life mattered. And when the judge read that Terrence Kenneth Yancey was guilty and sentenced to 18 years in prison, tears flowed down every face in the room. It wasn't the life sentence they wanted, but it was something. It was accountability.
Done a lot of shit that's weighed this relationship down. I've done a lot of shit that can make you hate me. I've done a lot of shit that will make you look the other way when I could be saying something right. But I just want you to open your mind up and just to see every day we losing a house.
So
Me being with my child every day. A bunch of shit. Like, I don't want to lose my love with you. I don't want to have to restore all that shit. And then we come back to each other and we work it out. And then we have to do all that again. I don't want to have to do that. I don't want to stop the baby steps again. I'm just asking you to try, babe. Any sign of me cheating, any sign of me doing anything wrong, you can leave. You can go right out the door.
That's what you don't understand is I don't want to work it out. In order to work it out, no way. Wait, let me finish.
I know you don't want to. I already understand you don't want to work it out, and I know why. Because it takes me this long to try to fucking put it together.
I'm not done
but
talking.
that's not the way I want to go.
You just got me off. You just got me.
Because for so long, it felt like everyone wanted to downplay what really happened, to make Tyree's life sound like just another headline, another statistic. But that day, his name echoed through that courtroom like thunder. The judge made it clear this was no accident. This wasn't some moment of panic or fear. This was deliberate violence. 16 bullets told a story that words couldn't. Even with that sentence, though, Tyree's parents knew it would never be enough. Lindsay said, 18 years doesn't even cover the time I've already lost without my son. Still, they found comfort in knowing that the truth came out. The court confirmed what they had known from day one. Tyree didn't die because of a fight gone wrong. He died because someone couldn't handle rejection. Someone couldn't stand that he still loved the woman now lying beside his killer.
I don't want to work it out. In order to work it out, no way. Wait, let me finish.
I know you don't want to. I already understand you don't want to work it out, and I know why. Because it takes me this long to try to fucking put it together.
I'm not done
but
talking.
that's not the way I want to go.
You just got me off. So can I talk?
Yes.
In order to work something out, both people have to want it.
Yes.
And I don't.
And I'm just asking.
So I'm telling you how this is gonna go.
I just don't think we should be like this, babe. You're trying to run the show, and I just think you should just give me an opportunity to fix it with our relationship. Like, I'm so down on this shit. I'm so mentally broken. I really want to fix my own, bro.
You're so mentally broken.
Babe, I've been through a lot of shit. You've been through a lot too. I'm not knocking that, bro. I'm not knocking that. At the end of the day, you went through shit when it was most trauma and you were having a baby. I was a terrible boyfriend. I was never there. I was absent. I wanted to smoke J's more than worrying about my family and making sure y'all are straight. I was worried about getting high, stimulation in my mind and shit like that. I'm not worried about that shit no more. Like, I honestly have a clear head. I honestly think about putting my family ahead. I honestly thinking about still being able to stand. So if emergencies come, if you crash your car, shit happen, I'll be able to put us back on our feet like that. That's my shit. I don't want to lose you, bro. Like, I'm not even gonna think about losing you because that shit is hard for me to endure, bro. Definitely the day before Christmas, like I keep telling you. Never had a Christmas with you, bro. Just wanna try to spend time with you, at least try to enjoy my life with you while I can. I only had one life. We already had a kid. We already started a family. Let's get this shit right while we can, before it's too late.
That's what I'm telling you, Tyree.
It's not too late, baby, because we're right here talking. It's not too late. We're right here talking. It's not too late. We still there together. It's not too late. It's not too late.
I'm still here?
What?
Because I work here.
Okay, and I'm asking you to just love me
I feel bad
again.
for Boo that he has to get
I'm just
used to it.
asking you to love me again,
So,
babe. I'm just
the
asking
car
you to love me again, babe. I'm
is
asking you to,
convenient.
please, I'm just asking you to love me again. I'm just
My
asking
son's
you to,
stuff is here.
I'm just
And
asking you.
until I'm able to...
You're not moving. I don't want you to leave. I don't want you to do all that. I'm not trying to tell you what to do. I want you to just see positivity out of this situation.
It's no positivity.
It is positivity. You're making it negative. If I'm telling you, it's still
Tyree,
positive.
I
If
just
I'm
bust
telling
your
you,
head open.
babe,
I just bust your
I'm
eye
fine.
open.
I'm still seeing positivity. Okay, I'm still seeing positivity. You're the one who's painting a negative on the situation. Like, you not understanding, you laughing at me, bro.
Is negative.
It's
I
not,
can't
because I'm
paint
right
negative
here.
on negative.
I'm
It's
trying to
already
work this shit
negative.
out. I'm right here trying to work this shit out. I'm right here trying to...
After the trial, the Richardsons faced another kind of pain, the public opinion. Social media was wild. Some people still defended Terrence, saying he was protecting his home. Others dragged Autumn for her role in everything, accusing her of betrayal, manipulation, and lies. But through it all, Tyree's family stayed focused on honoring his name. They launched a foundation in his memory to help young fathers and raise awareness about toxic relationships. Lindsay said, "We can't bring him back, but we can make sure other mothers don't bury their sons the same way I had to." That statement shook the community because it wasn't just about Tyree anymore. It was about every young man trying to do better who ends up losing everything to jealousy and violence. At Tyree's funeral, hundreds showed up. His casket was silver, shining under the church lights as his closest friends carried it down the aisle. The air was filled with his music, FSO Gunk blasting through the speakers one last time.
You trying to work this out. And a week ago, you punched me in my face.
And I've done that.
Dragged me
I've
off
told
the
you
bed.
that. I've done
Got
that.
on
I've
top
done
of
that.
me and choked me.
Babe, but you gotta understand, I'm out of town for 4 days. I'll come back home. And
You come back
everything that
home.
I have is just fucking...
With bitches' numbers in your phone. You're
You
on the
right,
phone with
I
bitches
did.
while I'm in the
You
kitchen.
right.
You're in the living room.
I was not on the phone with no bitch while you was in the kitchen and I was in the living room.
You didn't know
I swear
was
to
in the
God.
kitchen.
I swear to God I wasn't
heard
on the
it.
phone with no bitch in the living room while you was in the kitchen. I would never do no shit like that.
You
I wouldn't even call no bitch in my house with you right here. That's so disrespectful. You might have thought I was on the phone with a bitch.
You were.
I wasn't.
Okay. Well, besides...
I wasn't on the phone with a bitch. I'm telling you, I wasn't on the phone with a bitch in the living room with you right here. I wouldn't even do no shit like that.
Okay, so maybe I just misheard. But...
Maybe you misheard. Like I said, I wouldn't do no shit like that. Like, that's beyond disrespectful. I would be...
His family didn't want silence. They wanted sound, rhythm, and emotion, just like Tyree had lived his life. His little boy Cody was there too young to understand why everyone was crying, too innocent to know that his dad was gone forever. Lindsay whispered over the coffin, "Your daddy loved you so much." That moment broke everyone. You could feel the pain ripple through the crowd like a wave. Friends spoke about Tyree's energy, how he could walk into any room and light it up. They remembered his laugh, his jokes, his drive to build something from nothing. His father, Roger, said, "He wasn't perfect, but he was real. He took care of people. He gave second chances. And somebody took advantage of that kindness." That line hit hard because everyone knew it was the truth. Tyree's love had been his downfall. He cared too much, trusted too deep, and ignored red flags because his heart wanted peace, not war. After the funeral, life didn't return to normal. It never could. Lindsay said she still wakes up every night at 3:32 a.m., the exact time she got the call. Some nights she scrolls through Tyree's old texts just to hear his words again. Roger spends hours watching his son's videos, listening to his music, remembering the plans they made for his business, for his family, for Cody's future. They said grief doesn't fade, it just changes shape, and in their grief, they found purpose. They began speaking out in schools, churches, and community events, telling Tyree's story, not to make people sad, but to open eyes. They warned young people to pay attention to signs of danger, to never ignore gut feelings, and to value their lives more than their love for someone who might not feel the same. Roger said, "You can love people more than they love you, but don't let that love be the reason you die." That line became the message carved into Tyree's memorial. Love should never cost you your life. Even though Terrence was behind bars, the pain didn't disappear. The Richardsons still struggle every holiday, every birthday, every milestone Cody reaches without his dad. They said the hardest part is knowing their grandson will grow up asking, "Where's my daddy?" And all they can say is, "He loved you more than anything." That kind of heartbreak never heals. But the story of Tyree's death became bigger than just one tragedy. It became a warning about betrayal and jealousy, about how quick life can be stolen when emotions turn violent. People began to see his case not as another crime, but as a reflection of something deeper in today's relationships, where love can twist into obsession and control. Social media pages began using Tyree's story as a wake-up call, telling others to protect their peace, walk away from toxicity, and never confuse passion with danger. Still, one thing remained clear: Tyree's legacy wouldn't fade. His music streams spiked after his death, fans posting his lyrics like prayers. His community started hosting Gunk Day, a yearly event celebrating his life and reminding young men that it's okay to start over, to grow, to choose peace. Lindsay said she wants her son remembered for who he was becoming, not how he died. He was on the path, she said. He wanted better for his son. He wanted better for himself. In the end, Tyree's story became both heartbreaking and powerful, a story of love, betrayal, and a family's fight for truth. It's a reminder that behind every headline, there's a mother crying herself to sleep, a father trying to stay strong, and a child growing up without a parent. Tyree's parents turned their pain into a mission to speak for every victim who can't speak anymore. They said if his story saves even one person, then his death won't be in vain. Because in the cold silence of that June night, something more than a young man was lost. A legacy was stolen. And now, through his family, that legacy lives again. They want people to remember Tyree not as a victim, but as a symbol of resilience, warning others that love is powerful, but it should never end in a bullet.